Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're speaking to Dr. Hawa, Dentist Hawa rather. Dentist Hawa, can you tell us what year did you go for Hajj and how long was your stay?
Wa alaikum salam Maulana, and greetings of peace to all the listeners as the Mubarak days of Zil Hijjah approaches us once again. I went in 2016. I did the 3-week package, and that year was the year when the Biometrics was introduced. So when we reached Jeddah airport, we didn't wait long at all. It was a quick trip. Took us virtually 5 minutes compared to the past when it took Hujjaj at least up to 9 hours, sometimes 10 hours to go through immigration. So we did it very smoothly within 5 minutes. It was also the year when we were only 2,500 Hujjaj. Normally it's about 3,500. So we were a small group of South Africans being ambassadors as Hujjaj and ambassadors for South Africa.
Doc, when we say Hajj, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
First things first, Maulana, so many things. There's a flurry of emotions, flurry of thoughts. So many things come to mind. From the time we are small, we say round and round the Kaaba, like a good Sahaba. So we are being prepared for this Hajj journey from the time we are small. And even when we just say Hajj, we think of it's a pillar of Islam. We think of who we're emulating, Bibi Hajara alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam. We think of it's a journey of love, a journey of du'as. I think of Mina, Muzdalifa, Arafah, my group, all the Hajj classes, Sahuk, all the things people taught me. The minute I think of Hajj, I think of what I left with from South Africa. So I went for about 16 Hajj classes. And I remember the words of very pious people. Mufti Musaji taught me that sabr comes in the Quran 90 times. So that was part of my luggage. And then the late Maulana Ibrahim Bamji, he taught me that Makkah is like a belly. The more you fill it, the more it expands. And that also stuck with me because Makkah was really crowded. Ijaz taught me that life is like a river, you pass the same water only once. So that also stuck with me. Everything we made memories, and nothing is going to ever happen again. And I did say, Fahim from the tire place, he taught me that when you go into Masjid al-Nabawi, in front of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's Qabr, you take Shahada again. And on the day of Qiyamah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be a witness, he'll bear testimony that you took Shahada. So there's a lot about Hajj. And my favorite Nazam, as we grew up, we learned the Nazam, Hajiyo tum chate chate, kalimate yappariyo. And the rest of the Nazam, it just sticks with me all the time when I think of Hajj. A beautiful experience. I did a lot of live crossovers with Radio Islam. And I think how I sounded then, I can never sound the same again. I call it a Hajj high.
One habit that you formed in Hajj and you've carried on till today.
Okay, Hajj is a life-changing lesson. The habit I formed, I learned to love, honor, and gift the Hujjaj. So I follow the Sahuk Hajj list. The minute the first Hajj list comes out, I look for people that I may recognize. I acknowledge them. I keep in touch with them throughout their journey. So like 2 years ago, I knew 50 Hujjaj that were in the Holy Lands. And I made each one my status every day. So I was very busy with making statuses. But yeah, I like to follow with the Hujjaj. I like to make things for them, take things, give them patkos. It brings back memories. It reminds me a lot about my trip.
A sacrifice that you had to make in order for your Hajj to become a reality.
Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made it very easy for me. I made no great sacrifices except that I had to leave my children and my mom. But other than that, it was just beautiful and easy.
A story that you tell your children and grandchildren from your trip of Hajj, every time, when people speak about Hajj, this is the story that you're telling them.
Yes, my Hajj stories have become timeless. I say the same stories over and over, and it created an enthusiasm in my granddaughters. I talk to them, or they make me repeat the stories from the time we left Extension 9, we got to the airport, how we traveled along. We were advised to read Surah Al-Kawthar 1,000 times before we reached Medina. So the tafsir part, my granddaughters really enjoy. I tell them the whole story of how the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lost his son, and Allah gave the Surah Al-Kawthar as a gift to him. And then I go through the whole Hajj with them, but they enjoyed the ziyarats the most, and they found it most interesting because it does relate a lot to their Islamic history at school. So we talk about Salman Farsi and the date plantation. So I told them they mustn't say Jack and the Beanstalk anymore. It's Salman Farsi. He wanted his freedom, and his owner said if the seeds bear fruit, then he'll get his freedom. And alhamdulillah, subhanallah, the very next day, the seeds had bearing fruit. So he was given his freedom. And then I talk about the court in Medina, the streets of Medina. I created in their minds the image, and that for them was like they yearned for it. They wanted to go. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us that opportunity last year. Oh, I mustn't get emotional, but it was my dream to hold my granddaughters by their hands and walk around the Kaaba. I wanted to make tawaf with them. And when we left, we were staying in the hotel we were at Voco. So we look on the screen and it tells you how full the haram is. And it was absolutely packed. But we just went. We walked in and we walked straight to the Kaaba. And I held my granddaughters by their hands and we did it together. And that for me is a memory, but it will be for them a lifelong memory. And Allah made that possible.
A difficult moment that came through on your Hajj, but it actually became an inspiration for you later.
Yeah, Maulana, in the middle of every difficulty is opportunity. So when we were, during the 5 days of Hajj, somewhere along the line, we all had the same backpacks because we had the same agent. So somewhere along the line, my bag disappeared. Nobody stole it. It was just mixed up with somebody else, and nobody owned up. Nobody could find it. So I missed my phone, and I missed my live crossovers with Radio Islam. But alhamdulillah, the opportunity it gave me, I could focus on my ibadat. So I had concentration and focus on ibadat.
And a dua that you remember that you made during the Hajj, and it was answered in an unexpected way.
Again, Mulana, it's hard to pick out a specific dua, but because Hajj is a journey of duas. But yes, it's from a mother's heart. I made dua for my children, and my son is the light of my life. He saved himself on my phone as my favorite child. But yeah, my sincere dua to Allah was for my son to get accepted as a registrar at the university. And alhamdulillah, there were over 100 applicants, and my son was chosen. So alhamdulillah, that I knew his potential, but I say unexpected. But Allah accepted my dua.